Hands up, and we'll just try to do the best we can. There's one right there, Bob.
Me? Why did you change your program in the 10 minutes?
I would like to know what you think about what Brian Boitano said. Why are we focusing so much on jumping and not the actual skating? It seems like we lost some of the romance.
Do you want all of them to answer that? Okay, fair enough.
It's a good question.
Understand? You want to address that? I didn't feel that. These guys were fantastic, but go ahead, you can respond.
Well, now we have the component scores, and they mean sort of the same thing as the old presentation score in the 6.0, but I look at it as a huge positive for all of us because they're really much better defined, and we have 6 different components, and we're being told constantly the different changes and what the expectations are for each of those components, and we're able to work on them and have goals actually in the components, have goals in the transition, see a point value. Maybe what you're seeing is a little bit of us still learning about the judging system and getting used to all the intricacies of our routines and having to concentrate a little bit more, and we don't have the freedom quite yet to let go and just, let it all hang out. But I think as the system progresses and we all get a little bit more comfortable with the transitions and execution and all of the component scores that they contribute to that overall total, you'll see a little bit more joy. But for me, last night, I couldn't have had more joy in the second half of my program, and hopefully it was reflected in the component score. But I think, like I said, the most important thing to me is that it was reflected in the audience's appreciation. So thank you.
How about Nolan?
Okay, here again, my question is for Evan. As somebody who was who was in there last night watching your free skate and seeing the response that you were getting, I'd say about the last right around the last 30 seconds of your program. I'm just wondering, were you even able to hear the end of your music?
Well, I was nervous last night, and I was trying to stay in my own zone and kind of tune out the audience, and I knew so many friends and family in the crowd that I didn't even want to look up because I knew that the second I spotted a familiar face, it would make me even more nervous. So I was trying to look down, and I think slowly as my program progressed, my focus turned up, and then, obviously once all the hard tricks were out of the way, I was able to just concentrate completely on the crowd, and I let all of that energy in, and it was really, for me, it was such an electric feeling in the building from the start of the event right through the end, and I think that's something that we as skaters are very proud of, and we as Angelinos should all be proud of, that we can put on that kind of event.
And you did it, Evan!
Yes, congratulations to everybody. I want to know, since this competition and last year were not won on the quad, how do you guys balance the perceived need for the quad, particularly heading into an Olympic year, with the increased risk of injury, particularly perhaps a significant injury?
You should be a commentator. That's a very good question. You want to handle that, Patrick?
Yeah, the one about the quad.
I think the quad is a risk you choose to take, and it's a catch-22. If you do it well and you do the rest of the program, then you'll have a big lead. I mean, you'll be guaranteed a gold medal. But if you if you miss it, or if you do it but then you don't have the rest of the program with it, then it won't work. It won't have the effect that you want it to have.
How did you guys? One, you did the quad. 2, you didn't do the quad. So I'm curious how you make your choice. I understand the theory behind it.
Of course, we base it on training. Well, with me, of course, if I can't do it in the program and training, if I'm not able to do it because I'm too tired or I just don't have the motivation to do it, then obviously it shows that it's not the time to do it. But I don't know how Evan and Brian plan.
It's interesting. Evan was skating on a stress fracture in his left foot last night, and that played a role in you not doing the quad. You want to explain that?
Well, it was an injury I didn't want to talk about before the event because I didn't want any of the emphasis to be on that as opposed to my skating, but I've been dealing with this stress fracture for the last few months, and just recently found out what it was, and I was really limited the last couple weeks of what I could do in training, so the one thing that the doctor was emphatic about was that I didn't do any quads at all, and that's disappointing because I've been training it this whole season, and it was getting to a point where I could do it pretty well, and you know, Brian's one of my idols in the skating world for that reason, but for many others, he's a great sport, but for that reason also is that he puts it on the line every time, and I admire him for that very much. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it, but my decision-making process with my coach is very simple. It has nothing to do with the point value of the quad at all. It has to do with consistency, and if the jump is probably above 80-85% consistency, it's going to go in my program. If it's not there, then it's not worth the risk, whatever the point value is. And for me, it took a lot of preparation to be able to put a quad into my program, so I know what it took to get there. So for him to be able to do 3 of them in one program, I don't know how he did it, but it's amazing.
And Brian, that's a point taken. You just do it. You make a decision and you do it. Why do you do that quad? I know why you do it, because you can, but what's your philosophy behind the quad in men's figure skating and winning the medal, winning the gold?
No, because, you know, I learned with the old judging system to do a competition with quad toe in the short program and in the front program. And I did it when I was 16 years old. So now I don't want to... My goal is to do, like I did in Cup of Russia, another program with 3 quads. And I think for me it's much important than a world title or European title. So that's my main goal for the next season. And if I can do it for the Olympic Games, it will be great. But we will see. And I still have to improve on the skating, on the spins, on footwork, and I improved a lot this season. And I did some mistakes in this World Championship. I learned, and I won't do it again for the next season.
Bob, we got time for another question? Okay, sure.